UFC 324 takes place this Saturday, and I'm going to be giving you guys my picks and prediction to this absolutely stacked card, guys. This is a generational card to start the Paramount era. I think, they did this strategically to kind of showcase a striker's delight on the main card. You have a high probability of knockouts, 3 or 4 knockouts on this main card, guys, and even the prelims featuring up and coming stars. You got Charles Johnson on that card. You got Atabe Gutierrez on the prelim. But I'll be giving you guys my main card predictions. But I also have to include the featured prelim of a banger, Umar and Deiveson Figueiredo. Why that's not on the main card, is beyond me. But I'll be going down through these fights, guys. Starting off with Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. I have Umar winning this fight. I think Deiveson Figueiredo could have made this interesting maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I think the age has caught up to him. He hasn't been looking good in the last couple of performances. Even in the performances where he does win, he doesn't look too impressive. Notably in his last fight against Montel Jackson. He wasn't able to, impose his will or get any type of offensive rhythm going, similar to how he performed against Chito Vera. I just think that Chito Vera and Montel Jackson just failed to engage and failed to put up any type of offensive resistance to Figueiredo. Now with Umar, I just think that he'll be able to use his footwork, and insane wrestling control and pace to win this fight. I think Figueiredo really struggles against anybody that has any type of constant movement and anybody that mixes it up really well and showcases different type of tools in their striking. Right now, Umar can go to the striking. He has really nice kickboxing, but I think that he really will avoid any type of brawling to win this fight. I think Umar will win this strategically. I think the top control of Umar will be just enough to win this fight. I know it's going to be not exciting for the fans, but I think Umar, he's in the position to, if he wins this one and maybe another fight, he will be in the position to fight for the title. And I think that just the way Umar has been fighting recently, I don't really see him taking a lot of risks. So I see Umar winning this by a dominant decision, unanimous decision, 30-27 across all scorecards. And the more I think about it, I can see why this is on the prelim. Just stylistically, I just think Umar dominates Figueiredo using his wrestling, which is might not be something that we just want to showcase to the casual audience on the first Paramount card, right? So yeah, Umar decision. All right, moving right along, we have Gene Silva versus Arnold Allen. Now, this is a very interesting fight, right? Because when you think about it, Arnold Allen is coming back from a 1.5 year layoff where he was, dealing with some injuries. He got shoulder surgery and, has had a long recovery. So we don't really know which version of Arnold Allen will be stepping into that octagon this Saturday. But I'm just going to assume that we have a version that's, somewhere similar to how he was in his last fight, right? So if he was anywhere near what he was, in his last couple of fights, I think this fight will be interesting early because Arnold Allen is a very, very clean striker, right? I think that he doesn't really go to brawl his opponent. I think he can stay patient, pick a shot, set his shots up. But the only issue is that, Silva, if you allow Silva to catch his rhythm, Silva has a knack for, kind of getting the snowball effect. When he finds his rhythm, I think the strikes will be automatic. And I just think that Allen, in this case, will be way too patient and kind of give up the momentum a little bit to Silva. And Silva will start picking it up and, start using relentless pressure. And, I have him winning TKO or vicious knockout inside the distance. I have this second or third round knockout for Gene Silva. I just think that this is a brutal return for Arnold Allen. He should have probably, accepted another fight with someone higher, lower in the rankings. I would say somebody who, it's an easier matchup for him coming back from injury. I just think this isn't a good idea. Whoever his manager was, I don't think he, wants to see him succeed in this case. So I have Gene Silva, round 2 or 3 knockout. Moving along, next up we have Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Now, this is an interesting fight, right? And, a lot of fans don't like this being on the main card, especially on the first huge card, which is the Paramount era card. And I can kind of see why a lot of fans want to see Umar in here, but I just think that Natalia Silva will put on a masterclass of a striking performance here. I just think Rose struggles when her opponents impose their will and put on a high pace. I think Rose Namajunas, her best fights are when her opponents are being a little too patient, a little bit reactionary, moving around, staying outside the line in the octagon. I just think Natalia Silva, will win by minutes. She'll avoid any type of grappling. I think this fight stays on the feet for 3 rounds, and I just think that Silva will just tag her, and I think she has a cleaner striker. And I just think the striking advantage on Silva's side is extraordinary. If Natalia Silva, did what she did to Alexa Grasso, who was the former champ and usually wins the striking exchanges against her opponents. We saw what Natalia Silva did to her. That was a clean, striking delight performance by Natalia Silva, and I don't see any different happening here. I have Natalia Silva winning by decision, unanimous decision. All right, moving along. Next up, we have Waldo Cortes Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Now, honestly, this is one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most because I just know that someone is going to get brutally knocked out. And I think that someone is going to be Derek Lewis, guys. Unfortunately, I know he's the fan favorite. I know he's the class clown, the comedian. We all want to hear Derek Lewis's post-fight interview and him saying some wild stuff on there. But I just think that Waldo Cortes Acosta just a better version of Derek Lewis. He has cleaner fundamentals. He has the better conditioning. And obviously Derek Lewis does rely on that one-shot power against opponents that, typically don't move too well. But I just think that Waldo Cortes Acosta, he has, better movement. And I do see Lewis chasing him early on and kind of slowing down. And I just think Waldo will stay consistent and find that knockout. I have Waldo Cortes Acosta 2nd or 3rd round knockout. Moving right along, we have Sean O'Malley versus Song Yudong. This fight I broke down in detail on my channel, so if you want a detailed breakdown, you'll find it. And I had Sean O'Malley winning this fight in a high-paced back-and-forth war. I think both have really dangerous striking abilities, but what I've seen and what we've all seen from Song Yudong is he does really, he does struggle against elite, those elite bantamweights who have, great movement and shot selection. See his fight against Corey Sandhagen. He also does struggle with fighters at an elite level who have high striking IQ and the ones who can mix it up really well. Now look at his fight against Peter Yan and how he performed. He didn't really go that well for him. So I just think that O'Malley, he will stay composed when it gets messy. I think early on Song Yudong, will be the cleaner striker. I think he will implement the low kicks, right, to kind of halt Sean O'Malley's lateral movements. He will, find the power shots early, but I just think Sean O'Malley will stay composed and show, Song Yudong a lot of looks, a lot of stance switches, a lot of, his lateral movements, and I just think that Sean O'Malley will, get the better of Song Yudong. I have this by decision, guys. I think it's going to be a very hard-fought decision, but I just see Sean O'Malley winning this one. I don't see this going to the ground. I don't think Song Yudong has that ability like that Marab has, or any of a high-level wrestlers in the bantamweight division has. So I don't think that he'll be able to take down Sean O'Malley. So I think this fight will stay on the feet, and if that happens, I think in a 3-round fight, Sean O'Malley will get the better of Song Yudong. Now, moving right along to the main event, I also did a detailed breakdown to this on my channel. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Now I have Paddy. No. I don't have Paddy. I have Justin Gaethje, guys. I have him by 3rd round TKO. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes a little later, maybe 4th or 5th. But I just see Justin Gaethje accumulating damage on Paddy. I think Paddy's lack of elite striking defense. I don't know why people just ignore that against Justin Gaethje, because if you have any sort of deficiency in your striking defense, it's going to be very hard to win a fight against Justin Gaethje. I think that Gaethje has way too much power in those punches, and just his ability to inflict damage. See his fights against Ferguson in his prime, see his fights against Chandler or even Fiziev. His back-to-back wins against Fiziev. Look at how much damage he was able to inflict, especially later on as the fight elongates and Justin Gaethje picks up on reads and makes those adjustments. I just think the level, there's a huge difference in level of striking, and I think that Justin Gaethje will avoid the takedowns and make Paddy pay. Using his pace, power. I think leg kicks early on. Everybody saw Paddy Pimblett's success with the low kicks against Chandler, but he's facing Mr. Low Kick himself. Justin Gaethje is one of the greatest. Has one of the greatest calf kicks of all time, especially in the lightweight division. So I just think stylistically this is not a great look for Paddy, and I have Justin Gaethje winning this by knockout or TKO in the 3rd or 4th round. And this is my only underdog pick, on the main card. So Gaethje's gonna get it down for us. So yeah, those are my predictions, guys. UFC 324. I'm really excited for this card. And yeah, let me know down below if you disagree with me, what fights you're looking forward to the most, and what your predictions are for knockout of the night, fight of the night, and things like that. So that's it from me, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.